Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I am joined by special guest Amy Baker. Hi Amy, thanks for joining me.
All right, thank you for having me.
No, I really appreciate it because we've just come up, or you have just come off the back of a hard day's work, as we're going to talk about in a moment. So I think it'd be great for us to talk about a few things today. The reason I wanted to speak to Amy is because I've been really, as a lot of our clients have actually, been really impressed with what she's been doing online to change during these tight COVID climate that we're in at the minute, where for a lot of businesses, getting out and about is obviously a no-go. I was going to say a real struggle, but it's just a no-go. You can't do it. It's been an absolute nightmare, and Amy's done some really cool things to sort of pivot, as the word keeps being used, her business model to do something different and carry on. So, but I thought to start with, of course, we need to give a bit of background story. So, Amy, tell us about what you do for a living and how you got into it.
So I specialise in mostly 40s and 50s jazz and swing. It's all kind of swing dance music, big band music. A lot of some people think they don't know the songs, but actually most people know the music because of the Rat Pack, because they've grown up with it, because their nan used to play it or something like that. But it's I get to sing at lots of events. I put on my own swing dances. I get to sing at weddings and parties, and it's really varied and it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to have this job.
And how did you get into it originally? Did you do it alongside another job originally? Because so many people transition into self-employment at some point.
Yeah, I didn't. It's not very exciting, really. I didn't go to uni or anything. I worked at Waitrose, and I started doing some gigs whilst I was working there when I was younger. So I've been doing it for about 8-9 years now. And when I first started, I was just working part-time, and then slowly I cut down my hours. And I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago now that I just went completely self-employed, and the gigs kind of grew from there through word of mouth. And my sister puts on vintage events, so that's helped a lot as well. She puts on her own events, so I get to sing at those. My mum's really into the vintage scene. She's really into the clothing side of it, so it's kind of in the family, really.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'm lucky enough to, I say us as a business, are lucky to deal with all of your family in terms of their self-employed needs. And it certainly is. And then you mentioned there the Nostalgia Show, which was a fantastic event. I took the kids there last year, and we had a whale of a time for the day. So fantastic event. Was it always vintage, or did you do other? Were you musically? Was it always vintage, or was there other music that you did?
I started off when I was first singing as an Adele tribute act. So I used to dress up like Adele and sing all her songs. And I still sing a mixture of songs if people request it. For someone's wedding, they'd say, can you sing this special song? And I will add in some others. But I really love jazz and string music. So it's really nice to be able to sing it.
Definitely. No, and we'll talk some more about that and song choices later, because coming from a family that enjoys their music, it's always interesting to talk to people like that. So did you have a long-term goal when you come into it then? Because obviously the type of thing you do is something that a lot of people would love to do, I'm sure, for a full-time job. Firstly, what was the day you decided, do you know what, I'm going to go and do this full-time?
I don't think that thought ever went through my head at all. I think it was almost riding the wave and hoping that it built. Really, you start advertising yourself, you put yourself out there through social media, through walking into restaurants and saying, would you like to book a singer, or doing a wedding fair and trying to get booked through weddings. But I'd never actually thought this would be my job. A lot of people say, you won't be able to do it, it's very hard, and it is very hard. And I think the main goal was just to try and get some gigs and see what happened.
Yeah. And I did see, we should say you did another one of our clients actually filmed your music video. You did a music video earlier in the year, an album and things. How's all that been going?
Yeah, it's been really good. I've released 2 albums now. And in the summer I recorded a crazy music video with my friend Aaron in Gloucester prison. We all dressed up as prisoners, and there was about 30 or 40 swing dancers in the old prison. Obviously the prison's completely empty now, and it was a really fun day, and that's been a great I don't know, a lot of people say, so, you know, have you made your money back on those albums? Have you made your money back on that music video? No, I haven't, but it's always bringing new opportunities because it's out there and people see it. So that's how you have to think of things. You have to kind of try and think of the bigger picture than the initial return.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And I think so many things in business, we talk about that a lot, as you can imagine, in our job, is true. You might not, there's always a balance with any sort of marketing activity of how much is brand, how much is instant return, what is your return. But for you, it's also evergreen, I presume. You're like, it's not going anywhere, is it? It's now a catalogue. You've got it. And you can share it with people and say, this is what I do.
Exactly. And people will Google you and then they'll find your songs on Spotify, or they'll find the video on YouTube, and you just never know who's going to hear it or see it.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. And you mentioned something I wanted to pick up on as well. So one of my favourite ever podcasts, the Money Box podcast from Radio 4, which always makes me sound like an old person because you set to make up my dad for years about listening to Radio 4, but now I'm one of them. And it's a fantastic show. And they did a piece on the difficulty of being a musician or being an entertainer, a vocalist out there in the world. And you mentioned it. How hard do you have to sort of hustle to get gigs and everything else? You mentioned approaching people. Has it been a difficult thing to do?
To start off with, definitely it was hard, because when you're completely unknown, you have to get your foot in the door, you know, as they say, so to speak, because if people don't know you, they don't want to book you. They don't know if you're not known, you're not going to bring people in to, say, that restaurant, because they say, well, no one's heard you sing before, so why would they come? So that's the hardest thing to start off with. But once you're out there singing and you build up a following, then it's great, because people know that the crowd, the people that follow you, are going to come and see you, and then it's just been word of mouth, really. I definitely think still word of mouth has been the best thing for me. Social media is great, but yeah, people talk, don't they? And people say, oh, I had that singer, I recommend this singer, and that's definitely been the best thing for me.
Yeah. No, brilliant. And it does. It seems, I suppose, like any trade, it is exactly what you mentioned. It's getting the word out there, word of mouth. And we'll come back to social media in a minute, I'm sure, because you've been utilising that during the time. So no, that's good. Have you got a long-term goal? I mean, where does it end? I mean, people always talk about this with businesses, and some people have them, some people don't. Have you got any particular thing you want to achieve?
I think you always just hope that. I always hope that I'll just always be able to sing to nice people in nice venues, and it's slowly getting closer to that, where you can be a bit more selective on what shows you want to take and what shows you don't want to take, which is really nice. It's nice to be in that situation. You know, it would be amazing. There's some amazing venues all over the world, aren't there, that it would be great to play at. So I guess the hope is that it's just nice to be recognised and respected for the job that you do. So that's all I want from it, really. You always think, to be super famous, you wouldn't be able to go anywhere, would you? Can't walk out your front door. So
no, you'd probably be okay with the cash, though, right?
Sorry?
You'd probably be okay with the cash. That would be all right.
Yeah, I'd be all right.
Yeah.
One of these one hit, I was saying this, someone said, I was singing some Bond songs the other night, and someone said, you should sing a Bond song, you know, and I just said, you know, one hit, yeah. that'd be fine for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is the awesome thing about, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but you've been using Facebook to do sets and things recently, and I joked with you on there, you sung House of the Rising Sun, didn't you? That is slightly off kilter of what you presumably in your sort of set, but actually it was awesome. And as you say, that if you can sing, you can sing, can't you? It doesn't really matter what you're singing.
Yeah, it's been really nice to sing lots of different songs, and it's nice to stretch your voice and sing something completely out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely. No, and I suppose that leads us on to the segue then of one of the things I want to talk to you about. So we're locked down. We can't go out. You can't go and sing in restaurants or gigs, or especially at the minute, the weather was awesome. You probably could have done some great stuff outside. So what have you been doing?
So I have been setting up online gigs, as a lot of musicians have been doing. We've all just thought, right, we can't get out there and sing, but we've got a following. There's lots of people that come to my gigs, lots of swing dancers, and so I thought, right, I'll just start doing live Instagram and Facebook videos, and if people want to tune in, then they can. And it's been successful. It's been good fun, and it's basically busking but via video. So if people want to leave a tip, then they can, and if they want to just sit and watch, then that's great. And it's really fun, and people can obviously interact, which is lovely, which I guess is even better than doing a gig in a way, because when you're doing a gig, people can't really come and talk to you whilst you're singing, whereas whilst I'm singing, people are commenting, saying things. It's really nice that you've got that interaction with people.
Oh, definitely. And you also bring your dog on, don't you? I've seen the dog a few times.
Yeah, George, he I think it was on the first night, he came in, jumped up, and then I thought, oh, I'll put him up on my lap, and then everyone loved him, and more people started watching when George was on the screen. So he's my secret weapon to get people to watch my show.
So yeah, we were talking slightly off air about this beforehand, and you reckon that's your top social media tip, right? Squeeze the dog in for more views. Stop scrolling.
Add the dog in, and more people seem to tune in and view.
Yeah, and you've also, so I mean, in order to generate, so you've been doing, what is it, an hour a night for 7 days, 6 days?
I've been doing an hour a night, 6 days a week, but I'm gonna cut it down slightly and just do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I was learning so many songs every day, singing all day, then singing all evening, and my voice was getting quite tired. And then it's also, you've got to find a balance where I want to work on other things within the business, and I want to write songs and things like that. So it's finding a balance, because it's great, and it's great getting out there, but then you don't want to I also don't want people to get bored of it, but you think, oh, maybe it's too much doing it every night. You want people to tune in, and quality over quantity.
Yeah, and I suppose you mentioned you did a sort of a theme night the other night, didn't you, where you got completely dressed up and did it, and that was really successful, wasn't it, in terms of numbers?
Yeah, that was probably one of the best nights when I did it like that, and I set up a gig in the lounge with the lights and everything. That got the most amount of views, so that might be the way to do it moving forward.
Yeah, I suppose like everything, if people know that it's a particular day, they've got to tune in. They can't just do, because I mean, I was mentioning to you off air, I've been doing it. I've been just bunging it on because I know it's on every night, and I quite like that. But at the same point, I suppose if you want to funnel people into one particular gig, it's nice to know that it's only on X nights a week, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's been so many requests that it's it was kind of like taking over, because then I was every single day I was thinking about, I need to learn this song. So it's nice now, like you say, kind of get views on 3 nights a week and make it a bit more special.
Yeah. And for those, I mean, I know the answer because I obviously have engaged it on all the platforms, but what platforms have you been using?
I've been using Facebook and Instagram. I'd like to do it on YouTube, but I think they say on YouTube that you have to have a certain amount of subscribers to be able to do it. So I'm just trying to look into other options, because then if it's on YouTube, then it's there to watch back, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And I suppose you get a bit of that with your Facebook one, but it's a shame with the Instagram one a lot of the time, I suppose, unless you capture it and put it on IGTV. Don't know, interesting. But have you found one platform better than the other?
Facebook's definitely been better than Instagram. I think the people that come to my gigs, not a lot of them have Instagram. I've got a kind of an older following. Instagram's kind of, I don't know, I guess it has got a younger audience, hasn't it? Instagram, definitely. I find Facebook really works. A while ago people said to me, oh, Facebook isn't the best way now. It's going to Twitter, it's going to Instagram. But for me, I find Facebook is definitely the best place to promote things.
Yeah, it's interesting you should say that. I mean, we obviously spend our life studying the various different things with clients and with our own business. And I agree with you, Facebook seems to have, especially during these times, seems to have had a massive resurgence recently. It's like everyone's on there all day, every day at the moment. So I mean, as you say, I think there's definitely a demographic. It's a proven demographic. There's a slightly younger audience on Instagram, but yeah, really interesting that you found that so successful. So that's good. And obviously, those watch parties and all those other things you can do presumably help. The only thing I find frustrating sometimes about Facebook is I think they remove the ability to bring somebody onto the stream to talk to them in November, which and again, some technical person might correct me if I'm wrong, but my marketing people tell me that's the case. And whereas Instagram, in theory, you can bring people in if they request to come in, and
Yeah,
that.
Instagram is better, isn't it, for that? You can add someone in. I'm not sure. I haven't seen on Facebook whether you can do that or not. They just changed it all, actually. They've just changed the Facebook Live setup, which confused me. I just got used to the old one, and then they've changed it again. But I guess there's a reason for it.
Yeah, probably everybody on there doing it, maybe. But did and let's talk briefly about the tech then. So, how do you set it up? So, if there's singers listening to this or entertainers listening to this, they want to get on a live. How much kit is necessary to do this?
You can just do it from your phone. You can do it from your laptop. I bought a streaming camera with a built-in microphone, which was it was just over £100. I got that on eBay in the end because I thought I've got that, and then I've got my phone for Instagram, so the sound quality is actually better on Facebook if you listen that way. But I'm a complete technophobe. I should really know more, to be honest. And in this situation, I now wish that I had researched more and I had more set up, as in I could then record stuff at home and do more. But you take it for granted that you can just go and drive to a recording studio, whereas at the moment no one can do that. But yeah, you can get by with your phone. Phones are, there's some really good phones with really good speakers and cameras, so you can get away with that just using your phone.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think that's the important thing. A lot of people talk about is they're worried about doing it, but actually, especially with Instagram and Facebook, it's literally, you can be as simple as pivot your phone and press go, right? So it's, always interested as somebody who's got an interest in bits of kit like that as to whether you need, because I've listened to it, the sounded great. So I was just interested as to whether you had some, 500 quid microphone attached to the thing or not.
No, actually, my friend Aaron, who recorded my video, he sent me a shopping list. He was trying to help me of all these things. But at this time as well, you suddenly think, oh, I don't want to spend loads of money because we don't know where our next pay packet is coming from. So it's kind of finding a balance of spending out so you know that, because if the sound's rubbish, people don't want to tune in. It's the same as when you do a gig and I hire a sound man in, and they charge a lot of money, but they charge a lot of money because the sound is the most important part of the gig. If it doesn't sound good, people won't enjoy the show. So yeah, you worry that it's not going to sound good enough, but this seems to do the trick. And yeah, my phone seems to get through it.
Brilliant. And I suppose the $1 million question literally is, have you found it, your pivot and everything, has it kept you in enough money to survive, I guess, because that's what other entertainers be thinking, like, it sounds a lot of effort, it seems like you're having some good success, but is it converting into cash, I suppose, is the interesting question.
Yeah, definitely. People are being really generous, really lovely. Some days you don't know anything, some days someone will tip you a nice amount of money, and also it's leading on to I've put links for buying my CDs, so lots of people have bought CDs, which is great. So that leads on to people listening to your album, spending money that way. So it's just trying to guide them down different routes as well, because then if they buy a CD, then they're actually physically getting something for their money, which I think people like to do. So I'm trying to think of another way of getting some t-shirts printed, and then that's another way of something to sell, and then people are actually getting something for their money.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's good, and it's good to know, because like you say, it's a lot of, for your point of view, you mentioned how much effort goes into doing that hour a night, and obviously you're sitting there scribbling the different songs you've got to think about and try and learn and everything. So it's good to see that people appreciate that. And during this time, it's been interesting to watch, because I think people really do appreciate people that content create these days, make that, like you've done very, very well, which is engage with the community and the people that follow you. rather than it being complete just broadcast. You've been chatting in the chat, and everything else has been great. So it's good to see it working.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. When I did the live video in the lounge, the one thing I didn't like is that I couldn't see the people's comments. So then it meant that I couldn't really interact with them. Whereas when I'm just sat in front of the screen, I prefer it, because then I can actually have a chat with people, and then they know that you're just a normal person. I don't know, it's nice. I think people like it when they realise that you're human, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And I take it, are you looking back? Are you looking forward to getting back to it once everything opens up? Have you got gigs planned for later in the year yet, or is it all the unknown?
Yeah, well, there's still obviously lots of dates booked in for the end of the year, so hopefully they will come about and we'll be back gigging. I was meant to put on a swing dance on the 4th of April in Titchfield, and I've postponed that to the 3rd of October, so that's a big swing dance then. So I'm really hoping that can go ahead, and then that will be a big celebration to look forward to.
Awesome. And just while we've got you as well, one thing that always interests me, what you mentioned about different types of gigs. What's the coolest gig you've done? Could be for any reason.
I think I was really lucky to tour with a band called the Jive Aces for a couple of years, and they gave me a gig at Ronnie Scott's, which is kind of the place that everyone wants to perform if you're a jazz singer. So performing at Ronnie Scott's was probably one of the most exciting gigs. But I've done some really nice shows in London over the last couple of years with my own band, and that's been equally as exciting because it's your own show. But yeah, we're meant to be going to Bansko Jazz Festival in August, and I really, really hope that happens, because I'll be very excited to get my first own international gig. Yeah, a gig that's not in the UK, which will be really, really exciting. But yeah, fingers crossed we'll be back to normal soon.
Yeah, I can imagine. I suppose as somebody who does talk in front of these things and the phone every now and then, you sort of get used to the fact that you're in a room on your own talking to somebody. But have you found it weird singing into a phone rather than into a microphone in front of people?
Yeah, but the first time I did it, I was petrified. The first night, I thought, "Oh my goodness, what am I doing? This is scary." But now, yeah, like you say, you get used to it, don't you? You're used to sitting in front of a screen every night and chatting away to yourself almost, and waiting for people to comment and come back to you. But yeah, it'll be really nice to get back to an audience.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then I suppose to finish off, one of the things I always love to do is get some tips from people. So if you've got people out there, young singers or people that have just decided, you know what, I always wanted to be a singer, and I'm as you were, I'm in retail or something else, and I want to make the leap. What bits of advice would you give somebody looking to do that, starting out on their own?
I think just try and get out there as much as possible. There's loads of open mic nights. There's loads of venues around that you can just get up and sing and take a backing track and perform. So the best thing to do is just to get out there and perform, because the more you do it, the less scary it becomes, and then people start to get to know who you are and your name, and obviously, yeah, videos online, especially at the moment. If you can get videos up on YouTube, then you never know who's going to watch.
Yeah. And do you find that, I mean, it's most businesses is the equivalent of, who you know, and all the rest of it, the old saying of who you know, not what you know. Is it the same in your industry? It's very much getting your name out and people knowing who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, people, venues like to stick to what they know. If they know an act, and they'll just book the same act month on month, and no other act will kind of get a look in, which is a shame. But people almost get lazy. It's easy. They go, there, that's fine, I know who you are, just book you. And unfortunately then other people don't get a look in. So it is just getting that lucky break, really, to get your foot in the door, seeing somewhere, and then it can build from there because people see you.
Awesome. And that, I really appreciate you taking the time to tell us all about this. And what I'd love for you to do now is, can you let us know how people can listen more from you? Let's plug something. It's always nice to plug something. What have you got that people can listen to you on?
You can listen on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Amy Baker Singer. Instagram is Amy Baker Singer, and the same for Twitter. And yeah, my website is amy-baker.com, and then from there you'll be able to find links to Spotify and albums and information.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And so from my point of view, we've talked a lot about, I really appreciate Amy coming on to talk to us about what she's done to keep her business going during this particular time. And there is some support out there for the self-employed. I know Amy and I were talking about that just before we come on camera. And we're updating everybody as much as we can on healandassociates.co.uk/COVID19, or over on our YouTube channel. Just stick Healan Associates in there and you can find all the help that you need. Well, ultimately, if you are self-employed and you've not got an accountant, or you've got one that you aren't hearing from and you want some advice, please do get in contact with my team and we'd love to talk with you. And Amy, just to ambush you on this, do you fancy singing us out?
Okay.
Cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to knock my camera off so that then it centers it so that they can see you. And you can pick whatever you fancy. I've got whatever you fancy, because I know you've just come off the back of a singing. So I'm going to kill my video.
I will sing this song because it's very fitting for this time. It's almost got a wartime feel. So this is a song called We'll Meet Again. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I appreciate you doing that. That's cool. Especially as I just ambushed you. No, that's perfect. Amy, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and chat to us. And I really wish you the best of luck when you manage to get back out into the wide world and get singing in front of people again.
Thank you.
Amy, thanks very much. And I would love everybody to check out your social media and hear more from you and get involved, especially with these sing-alongs in the evenings. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.